And just to kind of follow up on what all of my colleagues have said this evening, you guys think we're pretty confident in all of you to become leaders, huh? And you have to get that feeling that we know you are just absolutely going to be amazing leaders. And I just want to share a few things with you as to why we are so confident in your leadership abilities without maybe having gotten to know you for a long period of time, and after having gotten to know a few people here for a long period of time. We're here with the Circle of 10, we are absolutely convinced of the purpose and assignment that we all have. And if you're anything like me, it's taken years to believe that you have one. But at the same time, we probably have a lot of events in our lives that have led us to believe that there's something that we were here to do, put here to do, or that we were meant to do. And I just want you to kind of consider for a moment the oak tree that we probably all pass. And it doesn't have to be an oak tree, but for tonight's purpose, it's going to be an oak tree. But, you know, the oak tree, the oak tree that is already within an acorn, it's always an acorn in potential. And I want you to kind of think of your life as that. When the conditions are right, that which it is truly meant to be naturally emerges. And the seed of potential is already planted inside of all of us. The seed of potential is planted in your souls. So with that as a foundation, just by a raise of hands, how many people speak English? Really? Are you raising your hand, Jen?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Then, if you speak English, you may or may not have heard this verse. And this isn't the right verse. This is the right verse. Anybody know the chapter and verse from?
I can do all things through Christ.
That's strengthens me. Do you know where chapter and verse? And I type a lot, so my handwriting is really bad. I'm just telling you now. What is it?
We think 4:13.
What book?
Philippians.
Awesome. Exactly right. And I'm going to stop at Phil because that's my honey and that's my reminder. Absolutely. So Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ Jesus which strengtheneth me. How many people speak Greek? Raise your hand. No one speaks Greek. Okay. If we were able to speak Greek, we would know that the original manuscript I am all things. I can do all things. I am all things. How many people speak Spanish?
Hola.
Mine's the go-to. When we're all brought up, we here in America, we learn the English language, which if you've ever had a chance to be friends with, or if you have family members from another country, a European country, when you look at the European language, the Romantic languages, you say exactly what you mean. And Greek happens to be just like that. So through English, the translation, the actual meaning of I am all things through Christ Jesus which strengtheneth me, say that 5 times, loses its translation. It gets lost in translation. So I'm going to use Spanish to kind of bring it back for us. In Spanish, there are 2 forms of being. There is ser and estar. When you speak Spanish, you can differentiate to some other person things about yourself that you can change and things that you cannot change. So for instance, I can say, yeah, usted, yeah. Oh, look at you. You did speak Spanish. See? I can say, soy alta. I am tall. I can't change that. I mean, something could happen, but God willing, that's something I can't change. I could say, estoy what's something that I can't
Hungry.
change? I wouldn't say cold, but you say it differently. So I'll say, estoy rico. I am rich, because I could be poor. This is absolutely conditional on something else. So when I'm having a conversation with somebody, they ask me, where am I from? I'm from Ohio. Soy de Ohio. I was born there. You can't change that. Some other things, if you ask somebody what they do for, like, what are you at this moment? Soy una profesora. I am a professor. It's something that you can't change at that moment. But I could say, estoy cansada. I'm tired, because in a few moments I may not be tired. Again, something I can change. So this is not lost in translation. There is absolutely a state of being where you can be something that you cannot change. And this is what we're focusing on. What does that say? So maybe my handwriting isn't so bad if you can actually read that. So going back to something Deanna touched upon. As women, that's something that we are. You can't change that. Again, you kind of could, but the process is. So I am a woman. We are all daughters. Some of us are wives. In that way, we are something, but always we are women and daughters. We're plural. We can be something at the same time as being something else. That shows you the depth of our potential in holding roles and relationships with other people, whether it's in our families, with friends and peers, or in our communities. You talked about leading a group of women. I mean, you probably find yourself in many different roles serving these women and maybe family members. So in each of us, there is something divine, and the potential and purpose that we're born with is an assignment. And some of the assignment has been unlocked, and some of it hasn't been. And the fact that you're here tonight with us at the Circle of 10, we want to give you the tools to unlock the rest of this assignment. So nothing goes to waste, because there is nothing in you to waste. So I want you to take a look at the table in front of you. You should all have a can with the word I on it, which represents I can. And out of the top of that is the word I am. And I just want you to understand the acorn principle. We've all been born into a belief that a lot of our fate is determined by external conditions, when in fact, exactly the opposite is true. Like the acorn, we already have the perfect blueprint and mechanics within us to fulfill our greatest potential and our greatest dreams. All that we need to do is create the right conditions, and that potential will emerge organically. So when you actually tap into the seat of divinity, when you give yourself over to what you naturally are, you cultivate the conditions for the growth of that potential and that purpose inside of you. No matter what the limitations may appear externally, internally, the destiny for which you were born will emerge as naturally as that oak tree from the acorn. So I want you to pick up the can that's on the table in front of you. That's placing destiny into your hands. I want you to separate the I am lid from your I can and reach inside and pull out your acorn, which represents your divine potential, and place your potential into your palm. This is a great truth that you've just manifested. To realize that no matter what side of the tracks you were born on, no matter what your current conditions are, quote unquote, out there, and no matter what race, color, or creed, when you create the right inner conditions, the greatness already within you will unfold. And all of man's problems extend from their inability to be alone with oneself in a room. And you just said hello to the greater I am that's already within you. I am, therefore you can, you have, and you are able. And if anything about this resonates with your spirit and your soul, then you cannot miss the event on the 8th of December. Because on the 8th, in addition to the training that you're going to receive tonight and tomorrow, it's all about living that purpose, living a life filled with the purpose that you've just unlocked tonight. So I invite you to join us.